Live show, multi-streaming on Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, and at the very least, 3 pages right here on Facebook. All right, so if you're checking out the show today, I'd love for you to chime in. And if you're into podcasts, be sure to search iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Media, as well as TuneIn for the Startup Junkie live show, as we are updating and uploading content on a daily basis. Now, thank you for the people that have checked in. If you could, just real quick, make a comment. I appreciate you all checking in. The show's getting started a little bit late today. Had some technical difficulties because, you get the idea that, hey, look, since I'm not at the office or I'm not in the studio, I want to use all of this equipment that I have. Like, for example, we bought this super expensive camera here, and along with the other camera that I'm talking on, which is the ES50, which is a 4K camera, and I got this really cool camera here, and I got some more lighting here, some dome lighting. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that, but I really want to use as much high quality equipment from mixing boards, etc., just to bring you high quality content for the Startup Junkie live show. Now, I want to start off today by talking about a little something. Okay, first and foremost, let me just get this out of the way. I'm your host, AJ. Okay. And today we're going to talk about the success factors, the 3 success factors, as I, preluded to yesterday on what makes business success and why you need to focus on the 3 Ps, which is people, product, and process, in order to even have a chance to have a successful business. Because we all know, as entrepreneurs, business owners, that the one thing that's guaranteed is the struggle. Success is not, but the struggle is definitely guaranteed. So before I get started into that, all right, and I see there's some people in the room, please drop a comment in the comment section so I can acknowledge that you're here. I want to address some stuff that happened yesterday on yesterday's show. So many of you know yesterday I covered the entire digital donation process, right? Well, let me give you some context about the digital donation process. Now, the digital donation process is the same process in which people that work as lead marketers and marketing teams, say for the Red Cross, United Way, Meals on Wheels, local churches, as well as just any nonprofit, when they're trying to raise revenue, raise funds to, basically help their cause, which, by the way, I love the cause, the clean water cause. So you just Google clean water, okay? That's just a side note. I actually love that cause. But even they do it. In fact, they run YouTube ads to get people to, one, become aware of what the plight of clean water is in these third world countries, and even some of the richest countries in the world, such as Africa. Well, Africa is not a country, it's a continent, but the many different countries in Africa, right, that have a problem with water. You know what I mean? And how in all these villages in Thailand, how they have terrible water, right? So yesterday, I decided to share the digital donation process, the same process that marketers from all of these companies use in order to, one, bring attention to their cause, and 2, to actually get people interested in actually donating, right? And the reason why I did it, because there has been a surge of people, it's in certain states, especially in Florida. I don't know why Florida is always a state that people, kind of do some crazy stuff, right? And no offense to any Floridians, if you're, from Florida, no offense to you. I'm just saying, this one pastor was arrested because he basically held services and he was encouraging people to hold hands, right? And I took that and the fact that there are so many people right now on multiple flat platforms live streaming their sermons and their services, but there is a disconnection with their marketing on how to get people, and not only churches, but also nonprofits. And I made that clear in my message yesterday. Well, anyway, here's the point. I shared the digital donation process, the same one I've taught in universities, right? And I basically had someone come on and basically told me that I was pretty much an asshole. I was an asshole. I was a fraudulent person for sharing information. Now, keep in mind, this is the information that's being taught in schools, right? And this is information that's used by top marketers for companies and nonprofits such as the United Way, Red Cross, etc. You know, think about it. You get a text from the Red Cross. You can donate via text, right? That's part of their marketing, right? They run commercials on YouTube so you can donate, right? So basically, the person told me that I ought to be ashamed of myself for promoting a way for local churches to swindle people out of money through a quote-unquote marketing ploy. Now, that's not what I was doing. But of course, the person actually came in at the very end, well, not the very end, but did not catch all of the show and did not catch the pretext, but formed an opinion based on what they call something that they've done before. And then they said, hey, I've worked in financial crimes and, you know, there's so much blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, my wife is an attorney. Her entire family are attorneys. So we're covered legally here. But not once did I say, hey, look, give to this organization, give to me, give to her. I never encouraged anyone to give. I was just sharing a business process, a marketing business process. That's all I was doing, right? So I guess they felt like they could threaten me and scare me. Like, that doesn't scare me. You're not going to censor what we say when it comes to helping businesses, when it comes to helping nonprofit organizations, when it comes to helping people who may not have the marketing budgets, or you know, such as the big nonprofits or the mega churches, to help them survive during this time, especially since we're all on quote unquote some kind of stay home, some kind of stay at home order. All right. So I said, okay, I'm going to help. All right. And so I'm going to say to anyone, I spend way too much damn money on this show with all the camera equipment, like the expensive cameras, the camera that you're looking at me now to bring quality content. And besides, you're not going to censor me. I'm a businessman. No, I'm a businessman. Not a businessman, but I am a businessman. In other words, I am a brand, okay? And we know that customers in the market, they don't like everything about a particular brand. So I allow the person to vent, but please understand that you will not censor what I say. So if you feel like this show is not something, hey, thank you, Yolanda. Yolanda was here yesterday. If you feel like this show, if you feel like this show is not for you, then don't watch it. You know what I mean? You're not going to hurt my feelings because I spent a whole lot of money to multi-stream, or our company spends a whole lot of money to multi-stream on all these platforms. Yolanda says she missed the beginning of the show, and you made the assumption based on little information she heard, and there will always be trolls. Thank you very much, Yolanda. Not only that, but the person actually did troll me, and I'm so glad you brought that up. And I'm going to say this so we can get to today's show, right? The person trolled me and basically sent me, after I blocked the person, I don't know how they were still able to DM me. They sent me this long message, right? And the message talked about how I was sharing with people how they can scam people. That was hilarious. Hey, thank you, Mosine. Okay, hey, Mosine Nahab on YouTube. I appreciate you checking out the show. And see, I'm acknowledging everyone. All right, Marie, you speak on it. And we grown. Let's learn. That's what it was all about. All right. That's what it was all about. If I am a business person, right, sharing with you, if I'm sharing with you what these major organizations are doing and how they do it and how they're able to leverage technology in order to further their cause and bring more awareness to their cause and actually get people to donate to their cause. And if you remember, and I know Yolanda remembers this, I said, when I said Target, she got offended by Target. But the thing about marketing is you have to target a specific customer. And I say that's all part of what they call targeting, target marketing. That's what it's called, right? And I said businesses or organizations that believe in your cause, like say if you are a nonprofit in your church and you feed the homeless, so you take food to the elderly, right? There are companies out there that believe in that will actually give money to you to help you with that good cause. And because she had worked in some kind of financial institution, which I knew it was kind of bullshit. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. The reason why it was bullshit is because if you worked in financial crimes and you say at a lot of churches, first of all, the person said in their DM to me that they worked in financial crimes for financial institutions, right? Well, financial institutions don't investigate churches. The feds investigate churches, and feds investigate nonprofits if they feel like, one, they're not truly a nonprofit, and two, they might be doing something illicit. All right, so that's how I knew it was bull crap, right? And the second thing is, I actually looked at the person's profile, and the person was actually going to divinity school, and I think the person may have been mad about something, but nonetheless, I'm not worried about it, okay? And I am going to speak on it. As you say, Marie, I'm going to speak on it. All right? So anyway, on to today's show. Okay, I just had to get that off my chest. On to today's show. Now, I know my numbers are probably going to drop. There's a bunch of people in the room right now, and I appreciate everybody checking in. Thank you. Would you say, I have a problem to find the exact persona of my customers? No worry. In the Startup Junkie live show, I'm glad you're watching us on YouTube, by the way. What we do is we do talk about mapping out the customer journey. We will address that. But in today's show, we're going to talk about a popular 3P success factor formula that CNBC's Marcus Lemonis with the Prophet has made very, 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 very popular. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to add Yolanda's comment. She goes, correct. She was trolling. She didn't have to stay. She could accept or reject the information presented. Thank you so very much. Yolanda, I don't know you, but we must be kinship because you must be my sister from another mother because we definitely connected yesterday, and I appreciate you checking out the replay of the show too. I saw you in the replay yesterday, even though I was not running it. A producer runs it, but I did see you, so I really appreciate you. Now, on to today's show. Now, as I said, right, there are three success factors that Marcus Lemonis, if you don't know him, he runs a multi-billion-dollar company called Camping World, and he owns, I think, the Sam Enterprises, but what this guy does is he basically, on his show, The Prophet, he goes around to small businesses and he invests his own money to keep these businesses afloat and actually help them reach profitability. Now, what you realize is when he does it, there are so many businesses out there that, you know, from the outside looking in, say as a customer, you think that they're kicking ass. They really got it going on, especially some of these businesses. Like I remember he did an episode where there was a meat packing company in New York, that was literally legendary, historic, but they were $50 million in debt. Okay. And, you know, so what he does is he goes in and he believes in 3 ways on solving any problem with any business. And that's focusing on the people, the process, and the product. All right. So let's just get into it. And good afternoon to you, Esther. I appreciate you. I appreciate you checking in. We got a lot of good people in here today. So we're just going to get into it. I'm going to keep this message short. sorry about the diatribe that I just went off, but I had to let everyone know I don't care about your threats. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care. So, freedom of speech. We got to fight the powers that be. Okay. All right. So let me stop messing around. So success factors. Back to Marcus Lemonis and the Prophet. So he goes into these businesses and he fixes them based on people, process, and product. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to explain to you what people, product, and process means. So take some notes, all right? Or just go back and watch this on the replay. And definitely, without a doubt, share it. And if you're into listening to podcasts, be sure to check out the Startup Junkie live show on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart Media, as well as TuneIn. Now, okay. People, product, and process. Number one is product, okay? We all know what a product or service is, and I'm counting products and services in the same. Now, but you have to ask yourself this question. What differentiates you and from the competition? Your product or service, what differentiates you, right? And so, oftentimes, you don't have to necessarily have a quote unquote better product or better service, especially when you're actually doing the same product or service. You just have to have a better way for consumers to actually use it, usability, access it, right? Great example of that is Amazon. You go to Amazon now, if you want to buy something, you click one button, boom, it's automatically bought. Or if it's something that you buy frequently and consistently, you can put yourself on a subscription for it and it automatically comes to you. Now, keep in mind, you might be buying the same stuff that you can buy at a store, but the product and the services around the product, which we're going to get into process because that's what it's all about, it makes it easier for you. In other words, the end user has an easier ease of use of the end user, which is the consumer. It's so much more enjoyable and takes less work and effort because at the end of the day, every consumer wants one thing. And I want you to write this down. One word, one thing, control. All right? One thing, one word, control. So the more control that you give a consumer over a product or service, the better you are to differentiate yourself or your value proposition, which is a product or service, from your competition in the market. That's super simple, right? Now, how do you do that? You do that by putting certain processes in place. Processes are, it could be structure, infrastructure. A process could be how people actually purchase your product or service. For example, and I'm just going to talk about disruptors in the market right now. And disruptors in the market basically took a product and did it a different way. Think about this. How much of a hassle is it sometimes for you to book a hotel room? Well, of course, you should be staying at home right now, but you get my point. To book a hotel room, calling reservations or whatever, it's difficult. So guess what? You jump on Expedia, you jump on something else, and make it easy for you to do that, right? And make it easier for you to do that. You want another lodging example of the, quote unquote, lodging hotel industry? Check this out. Airbnb. Now, they've come up with a whole new way to provide stay for customers, right? They're not even using their resources. They only provided the platform for you to go through, the same thing that Uber did, right? Provided an app and letting drivers use their own cars and insurance, and letting, as in the case of Airbnb, letting consumers consume from other consumers or from other sellers in the market. In fact, Amazon is a prime example of that. A vast majority of people that things that you buy on Amazon are not even from Amazon, right? They are from third-party sellers. FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, which is an individual like me, where I can sell my individual products, or BM, for sale by merchant. In other words, if I'm a merchant, I can place my stuff on Amazon and I can sell directly through the Amazon platform and they take a fee. All right. So what I'm saying to you, and this is key, right? What I'm saying to you is you have to think about, we've already covered product. You have to think about product. You have to think about a process in which you can improve the user experience, right? And you also not only looking outside externally, the user experience, but you also have to think about the processes within your company to make things flow better, to make a better workflow. And that's those processes. Say if you put infrastructure in place, like when I used to have another company back in the day, when we were a marketing agency, right? We would go out, we would land clients, but I had a process by which once an agent went out and landed a client, the agent had to come in. They had to fill out a production order. They have to turn bullet points about the business over to a script writer. The script writer would turn it over to a production director. The production director would produce the commercial. The commercial that was produced would be given back to the account executive. The account executive would send it out to the client for approval. The client would go online and they would click a button and say, I like it, I don't like it, make this change. And that was a whole process, a production process, part of sales and production that actually helped us streamline our systems internally that made the user experience a whole lot easier and more enjoyable for the consumer, right? So you have to think about processes from an internal standpoint, how you're going to run your company internally and externally on how the user will experience those efforts that you have going on inside of your company. So that's super simple. I covered product, covered process, and now I'm going to cover people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, and thank you all for checking in on YouTube and Facebook and Periscope. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to tell you the most difficult part of people, product, and process is people. Okay, are people. Okay, and let me tell you why it's the most difficult. Because you're working with someone you don't like, chances are it won't work. Okay, eventually tensions will build up and it won't work. If you're working with someone who's not a part of what I call the dream team, in other words, people that believe in your product, your service, your mission, and they're just there to get a check, it's not going to work. Okay, so I'm saying to you, the most difficult part is picking the right people. But you might be saying, okay, AJ, if I'm a startup, I don't have money to pick the right people, right? I say to you that you should pick people that believe in your mission, but they're also willing to take a very small stake and some equity in your company, so you don't have to pay them money up front. But the point is, they actually believe in what you're doing, and that's what it's all about. As long as they believe in what you're doing and they understand that you are the captain of the ship, male or female, and that this is how the processes go within our company, they're willing to adhere to that, right? Then chances are you have a potential winner on your hands. Now, keep in mind, just because you can have successful people, you can have successful people, process, and product, it does not necessarily mean that you're going to have success as a business. And remember, I said to you in the very beginning, before I went off on my diatribe about the troll yesterday, I said to you that the one thing that's guaranteed in any business is struggle, right? Not success, but struggle, right? I give you a case in point. We've done business with companies and nonprofits, and I mentioned this yesterday too, that owes us, they owe us tons of money, and we still haven't received our money, right? You know what I mean? So sometimes, if you feel like maybe a process in your company, and I'm just using this as an example, process in your company is okay, we don't have a really good accounting process for accounts payables and accounts receivables, then you have to make sure that you work on that to make that strong. So you have to work on your company internally and how it affects externally the users of your product or service, right? So that's the long and the short of people, product, and process. And no, it was not going to be long. But I will tell you this. On tomorrow's show, since I brought up the accounts payables and receivables, I am going to talk about the 6 areas of any business, fundamentals of any business. You might call them departments. In business, they call them silos or silos, SILOS. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about this to you as an entrepreneur or an existing business owner that may be missing one of these elements, right? And then you have to take all of those elements that I am going to talk about tomorrow, right? And you have to put them in a form of a system, which goes back to the process, okay? The process of how your entire company runs. All right. Whew. All right. So thank you very much, people. I really appreciate everyone checking out the show today. I want to definitely blessings, brother. Love the show. I really appreciate you. Thank you all for checking out the show today. All the people that checked in from Periscope or YouTube, as well as Facebook. And do understand, because I got all of this camera equipment. I went to the studio, the soon to be built out studio, and I started grabbing stuff, right? And so, and by the way, I was by myself, quarantined by myself, right? I got like all this different lighting and stuff. I wish you could see all this stuff, right? We're going to bring high quality content to you, for you, because the Startup Junkie is all about you as an entrepreneur, a wantrepreneur, which is a person who don't know where to start, looking to start a business, or even an existing business owner, and you just need some help. Just jump on this show, drop comments in, and understand this. I'm not only telling you this from a practical perspective, but I also teach this in universities. I develop course content for universities. And am I saying this to impress you? No. To impress upon you, though, however, that we got your back. And that's the Startup Junkie live show. So, as always, I'm AJ, your host of the Startup Junkie. Please, whatever you do, be sure to share this message with someone you feel like it can resonate with, or you just need some good comic relief. Share it, because maybe somebody looks at it and say, that person don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's okay, long as you see it. I just want you to see it and have fun with it and know that we're here for you. And be sure to check us out, the Startup Junkie live show, on Apple, iTunes, iHeart Media, Spotify, as well as TuneIn. So, everyone, until tomorrow's show, where I'm going to go over the fundamentals of business, such as marketing, finance, sales, R&D. I'm going to go over that tomorrow, all right? Y'all take care now. See you later.